Good day, and welcome to Yeah, It's Red. I have to wrap up my trip to Newfoundland, and I don't really have any video of those 2 days. I have a few pictures. But since this is an ST1100 site, I'm going to talk about it while I change my oil. And this is Valentine's Day, and so I got to treat my baby right, don't I? So, I've just warmed up my bike. I've got everything ready to go for me to deal with the oil, and so we will proceed and talk about my last couple of days on Newfoundland. And here we go. Right. So on the Friday, I was going to visit a friend, and actually an opera singer. And luck would have it, unfortunately, COVID was around, and he had just contracted COVID, so it was not a good idea to visit on that Friday. So I spent the time preparing for my ride home because I had a deadline. And the oil was running. Yes. So on the Friday, I decided to do my laundry, get a few groceries for my trip, and that evening, we went to Rob's house for a barbecue. So we did that. All good. And I think Jim had to get a new tire installed on his, a new old tire installed on his motorbike. So we did that. We went to the dinner Friday night, had a great time, said our goodbyes. And then Saturday, we had to make our way to the ferry. And at Argentia. So that was about 2-3 hours away from the campground. And it rained overnight, if I recall correctly. And that morning I had to pack in the rain. Unfortunately, I had that larger tarp, so I could pack everything underneath that tarp, so that would be the hammock and all my gear, and wait for the tarp to pack it up at the very last minute, which I did. So that turned out okay. And then rode to Argentia, took a picture at a scenic lookout, which is here, and then headed out to wait for the boat and met the rest of the time. So one of the things that I had to deal with was that I had promised my wife that I would help her out on her project, which was the following weekend. She was doing a World in the Weekend, and that was a puppet festival, an international puppet festival here in Stratford, Ontario. And we had to prep for that. So I had a deadline. I enforced it upon myself, but I wanted to be home Monday night. And the ferry left Saturday night, went through the night, and arrived the next morning, Sunday morning, in North Sydney. And I thought we were getting off at 8, but it wasn't until 10:30. And I had split the room with Andy, because I wanted to make sure I had a good night's rest, because the next couple of days were going to be long ones. I had to do 2,200 kilometers in 2 days, which I did. Now you will recall that my speedometer broke and I didn't have an odometer or a trip meter on my motorcycle, so that concerned me a bit. And the reason being is I use that to determine my fuel stops. This beauty can go 500 kilometers on a tank of fuel. I like to start searching for food at the 350 kilometer mark, 400. So I make it a point to plan out where my stops are. So I spent most of Friday doing that, figuring out, I'll stop in Glasgow, and I'll stop in Edmonton, stop at Rivière-du-Loup, and then Montreal, and then in Ontario, Cornwall, whatever. So I had that mapped out, which was good. And I did that on Friday. So I had a plan. The other little issue that had come up before I departed for Newfoundland was a theater, Thousand Island Playhouse in Gananoque. We're looking for a stage manager, and I had turned them down a couple of times. And stage managers have been hard to come by last year as a result of COVID, and a number of us have retired, so there are not that many available. And they wanted me to start on the Monday after I got off the boat. And I couldn't do that because I promised my wife I would help her out with her festival. So that was my prep week. So I got permission from them not to be in Gananoque for prep week. And then I would rush over as soon as the festival was over the following weekend and do that. So those are the things that I was juggling. Anyway, so come Sunday morning, after a nice breakfast, managed to get off the boat by about 10:30 a.m. And I didn't videotape on that day because that was an old run. It's the run that I had done to Cape Breton, to the Cabot Trail, and also it was on major highways. I had to make time. I wasn't speeding or anything like that. I was just going a few percentage points above the posted speed limit. All good, all good. Andy was tagging along with me, and he was going at his own pace. And we ended up meeting in Rivière-du-Loup. Oh, geez, that was around 8 o'clock at night on Sunday. And then we had to find a place, but it's the long weekend, and it's also a week where most Quebecers take off, so all the motels, hotels are booked solid. So we rode a bit in the rain that night further west and found a place to spend the night, and in a motel, which is great. We got the last room, and Andy managed to score a beer out of the proprietor, and that was good. And the proprietor told me about if I went along the St. Lawrence, at a certain point I would see the meeting of the waters, of the ocean water and the river water, and the swirl of that. So the next morning I departed early. I think I left around 7:30 and tried to find that location. So there's a bit of film coming up for that. Okay. Last year I was on the other side, over there, coming from Lac-Saint-Jean. And we're running along the St. Lawrence River. And around this point is where the fresh water meets salt water. And there's some wave action apparently. Gorgeous morning. Just gorgeous. It's going to be a nice ride today. I did that. And then we continued along, or me, just alone basically. Just outside of Montreal, I saw these two antique cars when I had a gas stop, so that was fun. And then made it to Ontario, which you just see in Cornwall, and I stopped for fuel there. While I was talking, most of the oil is drained out of the oil pan, so now I just have to deal with the filter. I can do that now. And then I'll get back to my story. All right. It's so much easier to do this with all the plastic off. I usually put a pan underneath the oil filter to try and get most of the oil and keep it off of the pipes, the exhaust pipes. It's on the point here. In the fall, I had taken off all the Tupperware and brought the motorcycle into the dealer so that I could get a few things done. And those things are, I decided to do the timing belt, and the tensioner belt, and another pulley, and I had the water pump checked. So that was done by the dealer. So I take off all the Tupperware to make it easier and save me considerable amount of coin doing that. I save in the end about 2 hours labor. And that gives me a chance to actually check the bike over. Make sure that the heat shields on the exhaust pipes aren't broken or cracked, because that makes a terrible noise. So I get that done. And I just go over the bike basically just to make sure it's fine. So I got all the fluids changed. So I got I'm just lubricating the filter and the threads before putting them on. So I changed the brake and the clutch fluid every 2 years, and I flushed the cooling system as well. This time, well, the cooling system had to be dealt with because we did the timing belt. Now I did that a little bit earlier. I did it 15,000 kilometers earlier than I had to, but mostly I had the funds to do it. And then I don't really have to worry about the bike for the next 10 years, except just changing those particular fluids. And tightening the filter here. This bike needs a bath. I've already cleaned the other Tupperware parts and waxed them in preparation for putting back the bike together. I still have to put the proper speedo cable on it because I've got the speedo cable from a standard unit as opposed to the ABS. The ABS speedo cable is slightly longer, so I have to install that in the next while. Now, oh yeah, so I stopped in Cornwall, and then along the way I stopped in Gananoque because the traffic was really bad. I arrived there at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and checked in with the theater, but it was a Monday, and most of the people were gone, except a few people were setting up in one of the theaters. So I checked in and then made my way back home. And the traffic on the 401 from the holiday season was just crazy. It was just getting really bad. Oh, that's tight. That didn't take too long. The oil is out of the... Just going to clean this up. Put the plug in. Oops. Finger tight at the moment. Sure, there's no residue of oil around. Move this slightly out of the way. And there we go. Good there. That's it. So yes, the 401 was jammed packed, but they have alternate routes that one can take in an emergency. So actually I took some side roads for most of the way, which worked out quite nicely. So this is going to take some time. I've already pre-measured some oil to put in this bike. Put this here. This container, and we'll make this happen. So this takes between 3.5 and 3.8 liters of oil. We've measured 3.5. We'll give that a go, and then I'll top up as necessary. I'm starting to plan my summer trips. I'm going to go to ROCKSToc, where a group of the ST Owners Forum members will meet in Ohio in MacArthur. That's in June. So I want to make sure the bike's ready for that. I need to get some new tires for that. So I go off to Winnipeg this weekend, and actually I meet that opera singer that I was going to meet in Newfoundland. I'll meet him this weekend, this next week. So at the time of this filming, this is Valentine's Day, so a week from now I will be in Winnipeg doing the 50th anniversary gala concert. Then I come home for a few weeks, and then I go back out for 5 weeks to do another opera. Then I have a few weeks home to get ready for this June trip to ROCKSToc. So I haven't been there for a number of years, so it'll be good to check that out. Aren't you thrilled about this? We're going to talk about Newfoundland, and I've been doing an oil change. Still a little bit left in there, that's okay. Set that there. I'm going to bring another camera around so we can have a look at this. So this will pick this up. You still recording? Yeah, I think so. Good. So there's a viewing window right here, right down there. And I am currently between the marks. That is good. So I'm going to put the cap back on for a moment. And I'm going to give this a start. What I'll do is I'm just going to turn it over a couple of times without starting the engine. going to check the level. We'll see where I'm at on this. My sight glass is pretty much empty. So we need to put a little bit more oil in. So I use a syringe to top up the last little bit. This is a veterinary syringe. And it puts in 50 cc's at a time. The sight glass is just coming up. Plus the oil, of course, is draining into the sump now too, so from me running. And I'm going to put another bit in. Perfect. Oops. So I'm liking that. So thanks for helping me change my oil on this Valentine's Day. I'll do some cleanup here and safely get rid of the oil and take it to my mechanic where he can properly dispose of it. I'm a happy camper. I really appreciate you being along the journey with me to Newfoundland. I must say it was a great time. Met some wonderful people. This country is just truly amazing. Just really, really amazing. Anyway, to finish off, I got home Monday night at 11 o'clock. And I started work the next day helping set up for this festival. And I'm going to show you some pictures of what was going on. Some of these puppets were just phenomenal. Jacques Brel was a stunning show. And I escorted a fish around the river. Yeah, it was a really good weekend. Good time. So if you have a chance, they're producing this world on a weekend again next summer. In that same long weekend in August. Check it out. Springworks Festival. I'll put a link down in the description below. And my wife does some pretty amazing things. So it's all good. All the best, and we'll talk to you later.